Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amelia, and I swear I already filmed this intro once, but it appears to have been lost to the depths of time and space, also known as my extensive hard drive and SD card collection, so we're doing it again. I'm also losing the light and also need to film the conclusion of this, so it will probably be a slightly more rapid intro than the initial one, which is probably honestly for the best. But in today's video, we are finally going to be reading the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. This is probably his most popular series. They say on them that over 10 million Mistborn books have been sold, which is an insane number of books. So I think it's safe to say that this is, as far as I know, this is really like the series that really like put him on the map, kind of catapulted him to the levels of fantasy fame that he has now. But anyway, so this is going to be kind of like a reading vlog type of video where I'm going to be reading all three of these. And I initially started with kind of not a specific time goal, but wanting to read them relatively quickly just because I felt like they would be good binge books, and also I had family coming, so I wanted to finish them before that, which, spoiler, I did not, but it was still, you know, a valiant effort. So without further ado, I think we should honestly just get straight into it, because what else do I need to say? It's a Mistborn reading vlog. Let's go. Sorry for the lighting, but I have now started Mistborn. I'm up to the beginning of chapter 3, and so far so good. It's hard to have much to say because chapter 3 is only like 35 pages in, but I'm enjoying it so far. We've met our main characters. We're setting up for some sort of heist, which I didn't actually really know that there was going to be a heist in this book, so that's interesting. But as you can probably tell, I have a little bit of a cold or something. I don't know, but I think I probably sound pretty congested and I'm very sniffly. So we are not going to talk for too long. I thought I would set up a little kind of cozy evening reading session, but the thing is I want to light candles, so I can't sit in my bedroom because I don't have any tables there yet. So I'm gonna have to sit in here, but there is no second chair other than my like work chair. So we're gonna be on the floor, which I think I can make comfy with the help of enough blankets and pillows. So let's gather those, and I might also make popcorn and maybe tea. We shall see. But yes, Mistborn, so far so good. Let's have our cozy evening. Which is the end of part 1, and so far we have figured out what our heist is, although it's not really so much of a heist as it is like a way bigger job, and a lot of our characters are very doubtful that they can pull this off, and so far I can see why they would be. It does seem like a tall order. I don't want to do really any spoilers in this video, but yeah, it does seem like it is going to be a hard one for our characters. We've also gotten a lot more explanation of the magic system, and it is, of course, a hard magic system, which Sanderson, of course, is relatively known for. Although I will say, I do like hard magic systems, but I think I prefer them, I like my magic systems to be kind of a little bit in the middle. Like, there are rules and stuff, but also a little bit more mysticism surrounding it, you know, like these are like kind of the rules as far as we know, but like stuff just sometimes happens. So yeah, that I would say is a personal preference, but I do think it's very interesting in this. And yeah, I'm hoping that I can finish it in maybe like 3 days, which I do think is also a tall order, just like our character's heist thing. But I have faith, you know? I feel like I could do it. But that's the update. Okay, I just wanted to do a really quick Mistborn update because I'm about to eat my dinner. But I'm at page 380. It's like 550-ish. So I think the odds of me actually finishing this tonight are pretty small since it is 8:30. My bedtime is 10. I could be inclined to stay up a little bit later if I like think that I'm like close to finishing this, but I feel like it's not gonna happen. So hopefully I will finish it tomorrow. But in the meantime, I'm continuing to really enjoy it. Shit has kind of hit the fan, so I'm interested to see how our gang kind of regroups and moves forward. But yeah, I'm going to eat my dinner now. So that has been Mistborn. Okay, so next morning, I'm very nearly done Mistborn. I have like 50-ish pages left. And let me just say, Sanderson is pulling no punches in this book. It has gotten very intense very quickly, and it's at that kind of stage where I'm wondering, like, how can our like main character possibly get out of this alive? So I'm very invested at this point. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish it on the bus on the way to work, but I would really like to finish it before work starts if I can, just because I know otherwise I'm gonna be like thinking about it. So yeah, that is my Mistborn update. I will definitely be finishing it today, and hopefully I will have time to start the second book today as well. But yeah, so that would be like, as long as I can start the second one today, let's say like 3.5 days to finish one. So it definitely puts me well within finishing it within 2 weeks, but definitely not 1 week. That's not gonna happen. I just don't have that kind of time. But I still think I can get this finished pretty quickly. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's very much pulling me through the book. So I think even if I wasn't like doing this, I would read it quickly anyway because it's just that kind of book. But yes, I'm gonna go catch the bus and get back to reading. Okay, I'm yet again about to eat dinner, but I did just want to pop on to say, ow, that hurt. I finished Mistborn on the way to work today, and I was kind of disappointed that I didn't bring the book too, because I wanted to read it on the way home, but alas. I really loved this book. I liked the way it ended, and yeah, it honestly like reads a little bit like a standalone in the way that a lot of things get wrapped up at the end of this first book, but we kind of opened some new questions that we weren't really discussing throughout the plot of this book that I guess we are going to take care of, hopefully, in the next 2 books. So I am now about to start The Well of Ascension, book 2, while I eat my dinner, and we shall see how far into it we get today. So I meant to do an update yesterday, but then like shit happened and I just didn't. But I'm now over halfway, maybe like almost 2/3 of the way through Well of Ascension, and I'm definitely enjoying it. It's a little bit slower, I guess, maybe than the first book, and it definitely feels like almost more like the first book was a standalone, and now this is the start of the duology, which is kind of interesting. I like it. We are trying to deal with all of the shit that was kind of left at the end of the last book, where they've just taken control. Nope, I better not give any spoilers. Oh, it's hard to say anything about the second book without spoiling the first one, but I don't want to do spoilers, so I guess I won't say anything about what's going on, but I will say that I'm enjoying kind of where our characters are going. Sometimes some of the things they are like doing is a little bit frustrating, but it's like I understand why they're doing them and like it makes sense for the characters, but it is frustrating because you're like, no, do this other thing or whatever. So yeah, that is my update for Well of Ascension. I don't think I'm probably not gonna finish it tomorrow. Tomorrow would be 4 days, which would match the amount of days I spent reading Mistborn, but yeah, I'm only on page, what's the page number? 387, and this one's just over 600 pages. So if I didn't have a family coming, maybe I could finish reading it, but my family's coming for the weekend and my mom will arrive tomorrow. So I probably won't have too much time to read after work because I need to clean the house. So we shall see. It will either take me 4 or 5 days to finish, hopefully. But yeah, we are making good progress. It has been several days since I filmed an update because, as I said, my family was here. I didn't want to record when they were here. I wanted to hang out with them. However, as you would have seen, I did film some clips and I have been reading, and we are now on The Hero of Ages, and actually we are very, very close to the end now. I can't remember if this is day 4 or 5 of me reading this book, but we have really powered through this series. I am almost done, as I said. I have like about 50 pages left, so I will be definitely finishing this tonight. And in terms of my thoughts, I definitely really enjoyed the second one still. I'm not sure if I would say that it is a 5-star along with Mistborn, but 4 something, I'm not exactly sure yet. And then this one I have also been very much enjoying. However, there have been a couple little things that haven't been my favorite. One was like a similar thing as happens in Wind and Truth. And this, I think I can say this without giving spoilers, so you should be okay. But where a character, like, you think they've died, and in this case it was like a really good death, but then they are still alive actually, and it was just kind of a bit disappointing, just specifically because I had like read it from Sanderson before, and obviously this one came first, but like I think the first time an author does something like that, you can kind of be like, maybe it's not your favorite, but like maybe it's a good scene and it's like played off well, and so you can forgive it. But if they do it more than once, it's just like, okay, I don't love this theme. And yeah, I didn't like it in this. Maybe there will be still some big part for this character to play, but for now I'm mostly just disappointed because I felt like he took a really good death for that character, and I imagine that we're probably not going to get like a much better of a conclusion for them, especially with only 50 pages to go. I'm still not exactly sure how they are going to defeat the big baddie, so we shall see. But yeah, lots to wrap up in a few pages, which I feel like tends to happen with fantasy, or at least as long as it's not like too long-winded.
where you're like, how we spent all this time and doing all these things, all these pages, and now suddenly we have to get everything wrapped up in like this amount of pages, and you're like, how is this possible? But yes, I'm going to finish this tonight, and then I will be finished the whole Mistborn trilogy, and yeah, at some point I'll read the next set, but I think I'm probably gonna take a break from it after this, so. Okay, I just finished Hero of Ages, and I'm gonna take back what I just said about Sanderson not killing that character. I still think it would have been a good death for him, but I think it makes sense in the broader scheme. And I have to say, I was not expecting him to go there, especially after that, when he kind of like pulled the punches there. He definitely made me think that he was going to continue to do that, and then he did not. And I'll admit, I thought I was going to tear up for a minute there. I got pretty emotional. I didn't, but it was still a very intense ending, and yeah. I always find it hard to speak about a book directly after I finish it, especially if it was like an impactful ending like that one was. So I will probably get back to you when I've had time to collect my thoughts about Hero of Ages and the trilogy as a whole, so I have something more interesting to say, because right now I'm just very much like, damn. So yeah, I will talk to you later. Good night.
Hello, welcome back. I hope you have enjoyed this reading vlog. We are now, of course, finished this whole series from Mistborn to Hero of Ages, and nope, that was Well of Ascension, and finally Hero of Ages. And I thought I would just give a few concluding thoughts. I don't want to go too in depth, but I do want to speak kind of generally on my thoughts about this trilogy. So overall, as you saw, I really enjoyed the trilogy, and I think the way that I read it actually was like a pretty good way to read it. Like, it's a very bingeable series. They're each like not that long. Like, they're long enough, but like if you read a lot of fantasy, then they're not that long. But I will say that the width of these is a little bit deceptive. They are the same trade paperbacks as the Wheel of Time books, so they have very thin pages. So there are more pages in here than it looks like. Like, this kind of looks like it might be like a 400-page book, but actually it is almost 600. So just so you know, and you aren't deceived by how like kind of small they look, they're thin pages. But, and I'm just gonna hold up the first one from now on so I don't have to deal with all of them. This is a series that I finished it and I was immediately like, I want to reread it and see what else I get out of it, because I always think the second time you read something, you're able to pick up a lot of these sort of smaller details that you might have missed the first time, or you pick up on like the foreshadowing and stuff that you obviously weren't really picking up the first time. I will say that book 2 does suffer a little bit from middle book syndrome. It's a little bit slower than the others and focuses a lot more on like the politics. So I was gonna say something that I think is also spoilers. This is gonna continue to be spoiler free. So generally speaking, I do think this is a little bit slower and more political focused, which isn't inherently like a bad thing, but this one set a very sort of action-packed precedent, and then this one we slowed it down quite a bit, and then we did pick it up in this one. I really enjoyed this one as well. I'd probably also give it 5 stars. I gave the first one 5 stars, and I think I gave this one like 4.5, 4.25. I'm looking at my notes. I do have a few critiques that I do just want to mention. One being that there are a lot of times, especially in like the first one and into the second one, where Sanderson mentions a lot how like small and tiny Vin, oh my god, I cannot speak today, is. And I just find that kind of thing a little bit annoying. The whole like, oh, small tiny woman thing. It feels very kind of like, you know, like the early 2010s YA books, they were always like, oh, she's so small and tiny. And I think fantasy romance does that a lot as well, but I don't read that, so I can't really say conclusively, but from what I've seen online, and it just irks me. It irritates me. Let women take up a normal amount of space. They don't have to be small and tiny to be like a valid character, okay? That just kind of annoys me. There's so many small, tiny women in fantasy. I'm just like, let the women be large and in charge, okay? And then, as I said, the kind of lull in the second book is another sort of critique. It's a lot slower than the other two, and for a while, it didn't really feel like we were advancing the overall... Please hold. That's my dinner. It's not done yet. But it didn't feel like we were advancing the overall plot as like much as we could have for like a good chunk of this book, so it was a little bit stagnated. And then finally, this is a little bit more of an abstract critique, I think, and some people might think that it's a reach, which is like fine, you can think that, but it did feel a little bit, especially like into the final book, there are like themes of religion, and we have the one main character who, like, his sort of like job in this world is to maintain knowledge from earlier times before it all got like wiped out. And when his specialty is religions, so he's often, and these aren't spoilers by the way, he's often pitching religions to the other characters. And that, in combination with the events in the final book and how that all plays out, kind of feels to me a bit like, it feels a bit like, you know, when a Jehovah's Witness comes to your door and they're a little bit trying to like pitch it on you, and like the things that he says about it, I'm trying to think what I can say that's like not a spoiler, but just the way that it's treated in this book is very much the way that people who believe in a religion say to people who don't when they're trying to convince them to believe in it, like kind of thing like, oh, like what's the harm if you just believe, you'll live a good life or whatever, and then you'll get to go to heaven. And it kind of gave some of those vibes in places, not a ton, but just something that I picked up because I don't know, I feel like that's just kind of the thing that I notice. All right, and then I think those were the three sort of main critiques that I had. Overall, I liked pretty much everything else about the books. I really liked the characters, Vin in particular, I really enjoyed, and her dynamic with the Kelsier's group, especially in the first book, as she sort of learns to come out of her shell and become like one with the group. It has a little bit of sort of found family essence in all of them, but like in this one especially is like when they all sort of come together. And Vin, despite being small, is quite a strong female character, and not just in like the obtuse like, oh, strong female character type of way. Like, she has flaws, she's dynamic, she's interesting, and I think she makes a very compelling main character. And I also really like Sazed's character. I thought he was very interesting, and I really liked the conclusion that he got, skirting the edge. And then the last like character that I like specifically really enjoyed was Tensoon the Khandra. And there's pretty much nothing I can say about his character without spoiling it, but I did think that like the way that he became close to Vin, despite sort of like his better judgments or like what he's like told to do and believe, was very well done and explored sort of character growth there. Yet again, we're running into spoiler walls. Let me know if you want a spoiler-inclusive Mistborn review where I spill the tea on all my thoughts in depth. One character who isn't like my most favorite ever is Elend. I just think he's not that compelling. He's fine. Like, I don't have any specific problem with him. Like, I think he's a good character, but he's not he's just not, you know, he's missing the something that makes you really care about a character, unfortunately. But he is still a good character. And then, since I feel like I've been kind of talking for a long time and I should wrap this up, I will just finally say that I also really liked the ending. I know most people really do, but I have heard some people say that they really disliked it, but I thought it was really good. It really made up for the part where I was talking about it earlier in the video where I thought a character died and then he didn't, and I felt like that character was robbed of his death. I think the ending of this book really made up for that, and it was the kind of ending that I really like where both good and bad things happen. So it has teeth. It feels like it took work to accomplish the thing we were trying to accomplish, and that the difficulty is reflected in the consequences. It's not just it's not just happily ever after for everybody there, but it is sort of overall positive, which I don't know if you consider saying that a spoiler, that the end has a positive angle, but I feel like all series have a positive angle at the end, otherwise the reader would just be really disappointed. So I'm going to consider that not a spoiler. But I think I will wrap it up here. I totally recommend that you check out this series, and I will be picking up the second series in this world, Mistborn Era 2, at some point this year. Feel free to leave a comment if you are interested in seeing a reading vlog for that series as well. Yeah, I think that is all that I have to say. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.